This is a solo audio recorder. We'll have a look at what they're made of, how to build one, and how they work. When we take it indoors and open up the waterproof enclosure, we can disconnect the battery from the electronics. All the parts needed to build a Solo are easy to buy and are quite easily assembled. This video shows you how. The electronics at the core of a Solo comprises a Raspberry Pi on the underside, an audio card on top, and in between is a tiny clock module. The power cable is widely available. It's commonly used to charge mobile phones and tablets. Formally, the connectors are USB male A to micro B. The microphone connects via a 3.5mm jack, which is very standard for microphones. So there's lots of flexibility in choosing your own microphone. And on the underside is the memory card in micro SD format. They come in a variety of sizes. This one happens to be 32 gigabytes. The bigger you get, the longer you can record. Here are the components at the heart of the Solo. We've got the Raspberry Pi on the underside, the Cirrus Logic audio card on top, and the Pi-Face clock module in between. So let's build one. This is a Raspberry Pi. It's a version A+. The A+ uses the least power, so it's good for battery and field deployments. Here's the Cirrus Logic audio card. It comes with a sachet of little connectors, these white plastic spacers that hold it together. So you can see that the pins on the Raspberry Pi slip into the holes on the underside of the Cirrus Logic audio card. But before we do that, we need to install the clock. This keeps track of time and date, and it's a tiny thin circuit board with one chip and a battery holder, and it just slides over the pins of just like that. It should be aligned with the top left. So put the battery in first, the plus side up, and then mount it on the pins of the Raspberry Pi. Make sure you've got your alignment right, and then I use a wooden cocktail stick to push it home. And then the Cirrus Logic audio card slides on in a similar way. Again, check your alignments, make sure you're not off by a pin one way or the other, and give it a good squeeze. Inside the sachet that was supplied with the Cirrus Logic audio card, you can see there are 4 small screws and 2 spacers, which the screws screw into. The inside of the spacers are threaded. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. This is a Precision Phillips screwdriver, a crosshead. And you just work your way around and screw in all 4 of the screws one by one. I've sped up this part of the assembly. Be careful not to over tighten the tiny screws. You'll notice a gap along this part of the assembly. It's because of the real-time clock module. You shouldn't worry about that gap. You can't get rid of it, and it does no harm. With the electronics assembled, we can now attach the cabling. First of all, the power cable, standard USB connectors, plugs into the Raspberry Pi. Get the orientation right. And then the microphone plugs into the pink socket. And then we protect the electronics in a little plastic box. We orientate it so the memory card slot is accessible. Pop a rubber band around the cables to hold them down. And that's that. When you put it in the main enclosure, make sure the microphone lead goes out through one of the channels provided. So the last thing to do is a test run. You'll need a flashed memory card. Instructions on how to flash these memory cards are on the solosystem.org website. Put the memory card into the Raspberry Pi and then get ready to connect the battery. When you do finally connect the battery, do it once and don't change your mind. And then you'll know the Solo is recording audio when finally the lights settle down in the bottom left there of the internal enclosure. The green one, the red one goes out and the green one does a heartbeat double flash pattern. The video has been sped up so the heartbeat looks very fast here. There we are, heartbeat. That's it. And then just put everything back together. Make sure the microphone cable exits through the channel provided. Flip it all together and that's it, ready to deploy. More information is available at the website. Good luck. Right, thank goodness that's done.